I heard it while folding bathroom towels in Daniel's hallway closet. Sign it under Mom's name, my son whispered to his wife. She still has 130,000 left. I froze. The towel hung limp in my hands. The closet door was cracked open maybe 3 inches. You sure she won't notice? Bryn's voice had that excited edge, like a kid eyeing candy. Not right away. She barely checks the statements. Just do it like I showed you. The loop on the M goes higher. And keep it under $5,000 per check. I pressed myself against the wall between the vacuum and beach towels. My chest went tight. I need that Hermes bag before Stephanie's baby shower, Bryn said. And the Chanel set. Go tomorrow. I'll be in Hendersonville. Just get in and out fast. $130,000. That was what remained from Robert's life insurance after I paid off the house, covered his funeral, gave Daniel $40,000 for his down payment on this place. 4 years of careful saving, my entire safety net. And my son was teaching his wife how to forge my signature. I sat on that vacuum cleaner for 11 minutes, watching the microwave clock change from 7:47 to 7:58. They talked about yoga classes and deck repairs like they hadn't just planned to rob me blind. When Bryn's Lexus pulled out of the garage, I forced myself to stand. My legs had gone numb. I finished folding the towel with shaking hands and walked into the kitchen. Daniel sat at the island, scrolling through Zillow. Hey, Ma, you finished the laundry? Most of it. My voice sounded normal. I was surprised by that. You're a lifesaver. Bryn's been swamped with clients. Bryn had taken 2 online courses and called herself an interior designer. Her Instagram had 400 followers, mostly selfies. I should go, I said. It's almost 8:30. He walked me to the door, hugged me. I smelled his expensive cologne, Bryn's Christmas gift. I'd given him a fleece pullover from Belk. $42 on sale. Love you, Ma. Love you too. I drove home in silence. My 2011 Camry with the check engine light that had been on for 8 months. 2 miles to my apartment on Maple Ridge Lane. 12 units. Brick. Built in 1987. Apartment 6B. 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Rent was $1,250 a month, going up to $1,300 in January. I didn't turn on Jeopardy. I sat on my sagging beige couch and opened my purse. Found my checkbook. Last balance, $130,240. 18. But I didn't look at actual statements. Those came monthly in white envelopes. I just filed them in the drawer under the microwave, unopened if my checkbook balanced. I got up and retrieved 6 envelopes dating back to May. May, $134,090, 22. Correct. June, $133,015, 67. Correct. July, $129,920, 50. I stopped. My checkbook showed $132,180. I was off by more than $2,000. I scanned the statement. July 18th, check 2847, $3,200. Asheville Fine Jewelry. I'd never written that check. August, check 2851, $4,100. Nordstrom, September, check 2860, $8,900. Luxury Consignment AVL. October, check 2863, $5,200. Neiman Marcus Online. 11 checks total, $47,000. I grabbed my checkbook, flipped to the back, checks 2847, 2851, 2855, 2860, 2863, all still there, unused. Someone had ordered duplicate checks. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Thanks for helping today, Ma. You're the best. Love you. I stared until the screen went dark. I didn't sleep that night. At 7:15 Sunday morning, I drove to Mountain Trust Bank. They opened at 9. I waited in the parking lot, watching Janet's car pull in at 8:55. She'd worked there 18 years. She'd been there when Robert and I opened our first account. At 9 I went inside. The lobby smelled like air conditioning and paper, white marble floors with green veins. Janet was at window 3. When my turn came, I slid the July statement across the counter. I didn't write this check. Her smile faltered. Are you sure? Sometimes we forget. I'm sure. She got her manager, Richard Poole, gray suit, mid-40s. Mrs. Hayes, you're saying these checks, totaling $47,000, weren't authorized? That's right. Do you know who might have written them? I opened my mouth, closed it. I thought about Daniel crying at Robert's funeral, about the way he used to climb into my lap when he was 4. I need to think about it, I said. Ma'am, this is serious. I need time. I walked out, got in my car. My phone buzzed. Text from Bryn. Hey, Margaret. Can you watch the kids next Saturday? Daniel and I have a thing. XOXO. When I got home, I saw it. The manila envelope on my kitchen table. I hadn't noticed it this morning. My name in block letters, Daniel's handwriting. Inside, 3 pages. Legal size, durable power of attorney. It gave Daniel full authority over my finances, my accounts, everything. The signature line at the bottom was blank. A sticky note was attached. Ma, lawyer said we should have this just in case. You know, if something happens, just sign and I'll file it. Love you. D just in case. I stared at that blank signature line. This wasn't about a few stolen checks. This was about everything. They were going to take it all. Legally, cleanly. And I had no idea how long I had before they made their next move. The envelope sat on my kitchen table for 3 days. I didn't touch it, didn't open it again, just walked past it every morning on my way to make coffee, every night before bed. The sticky note with Daniel's handwriting faced up. Just sign, and I'll file it. On Wednesday, Claire called. My sister, 2 years older, retired math teacher, lived in a condo in West Asheville. We talked every week, usually about nothing. Her garden, my blood pressure medication, the weather. Daniel invited me to dinner Friday, she said. You going? I'd forgotten. Daniel always did a family dinner the first Friday of the month. Started it 2 years ago. Bryn's idea, he'd said. Keep the family close. I don't know, I said. You have to go. I'm not sitting there alone with Bryn for 3 hours. Claire had never liked Bryn. Said she was performative. I didn't know what that meant until I looked it up. Artificial. Done for show. Fine, I said. I'll go. Good. Wear something nice. Last time she made a comment about your shoes. I looked down at my sneakers. New Balance, 7 years old. The sole separating on the left one. What's wrong with my shoes? Nothing, Margaret, just wear the black flats. Friday came. I drove to Daniel's house at 6. The November sky was already dark, air sharp and cold. I parked behind Claire's Honda and walked up the driveway. The house looked like a magazine photo. White columns, wreaths on the door, lights strung along the roofline. Daniel had told me once it cost $485,000. I'd nearly choked. I rang the doorbell. Bryn answered. Blonde hair in perfect waves, black dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. And that smell. Heavy, floral, expensive. Chanel. I recognized it from the Sephora display at the mall. $450 for the perfume alone. Margaret. She kissed the air beside my cheek. Come in, come in. Claire's already here. The house smelled like roasted chicken and something else. Vanilla candles, maybe. Everything was spotless. White furniture, glass tables, oversized paintings on the walls. Claire sat in the living room holding a glass of white wine. She gave me a look. Here we go. Want wine, Margaret? Bryn asked. Or we have La Croix. Water's fine. She brought me a glass. I sat on the white couch, careful not to spill anything. Claire leaned over and whispered, She's already mentioned her new skincare routine twice. Daniel came in from the kitchen. Ma, glad you made it. He hugged me. I smelled the cologne again. When he pulled back, his smile was too bright, too eager. Dinner's almost ready, he said. Bryn made coco vin. Coco what? Claire muttered. Chicken and wine sauce, Bryn said, appearing with a tray of cheese and crackers. It's French. I learned it from this amazing chef on YouTube. She set the tray down. Her nails were long, painted burgundy. I thought about those nails signing my name on 11 checks. We made small talk. Claire asked about the kids, Emma and Noah, 8 and 10. They were upstairs doing homework, Bryn said. Too much screen time lately. Kids these days, Claire said. When we were young, we played outside until the streetlights came on. Well, times change. Bryn smiled tightly. We're very intentional about their development. Intentional. Another word Bryn loved. Daniel brought out the chicken. We moved to the dining room. The table was set with cloth napkins and fancy plates, candles in silver holders, wine glasses even though only Claire and Bryn were drinking. I sat down and noticed the tablecloth. White linen, cream embroidery, magnolias around the border, my hands. The tablecloth I'd spent 6 months making for their wedding. I hadn't seen it in years. Daniel said they kept it in storage. Too nice for every day. But here it was, under Bryn's coq au vin and her wine glass and her perfect centerpiece of white roses. Beautiful tablecloth, Claire said, running her finger along the embroidery. Where'd you get this? Oh, Margaret made it, Bryn said absently, serving chicken onto plates. Our wedding gift. Isn't it gorgeous? She didn't look at me when she said it. Daniel cleared his throat. Ma worked really hard on that. Took her months. 6 months, I said quietly. Bryn glanced up. What? 6 months. I embroidered it by hand. Oh, right. She smiled. Well, we love it. We don't use it often because it's so delicate, but tonight felt special. Special. I looked at the wine stain near Claire's plate, the small tear in the corner where someone had snagged it. We ate. The chicken was good. I told Bryn so. She beamed. I'm thinking of starting a cooking channel, she said. You know, Instagram Reels. Claire, you'd subscribe, right? Sure, Claire said, not looking up from her plate. Margaret, what about you? Are you on Instagram? No. Oh, Bryn laughed. Well, maybe Daniel can help you set it up. It's so easy to stay connected these days. Connected. I thought about the $800-900 check to luxury consignment AVL. Wondered what she'd bought. After dinner, Daniel brought out dessert. Tiramisu. Store-bought from Whole Foods, still in the plastic container. Sorry, Bryn said. I ran out of time. Claire raised an eyebrow but said nothing. We ate dessert in the living room. Bryn scrolled through her phone, showing Claire pictures from some charity event last month. A gala for the animal shelter. Bryn in a gold gown. Daniel in a tuxedo. How much were the tickets? Claire asked. $500 per person. Bryn waved her hand. But it's for a good cause. $1,000 for one night. I thought about my rent, my electric bill, the check engine light I couldn't afford to fix. Must be nice, Claire said. Bryn's smile tightened. We work hard. We're allowed to enjoy things. Of course. The tension stretched. Daniel jumped in. Ma, you've been quiet. Everything okay? I looked at him. His face was concerned, genuine almost. Fine, I said. You sure? You seem, I don't know, tired? I'm 78, Daniel. I'm always tired. You're 68, Claire corrected. Same difference. Bryn laughed. A little too loud. Margaret, you're hilarious. I wasn't trying to be funny. At 8:30, Claire said she needed to leave. Early morning tomorrow, she said. I stood up to leave with her. Wait, Ma. Daniel touched my arm. Can I talk to you? Just for a minute? Claire gave me another look. I nodded. I'll be right out. She left. Bryn excused herself to check on the kids. The house suddenly felt very quiet. Daniel sat on the couch, patted the cushion beside him. I sat. So, he said, did you have a chance to look at that document I left? The power of attorney. I saw it, I said. And I'm thinking about it. He frowned. It's just a precaution, Ma, in case something happens. A stroke, a fall, whatever. This way I can handle your finances without having to go to court. I'm not planning on having a stroke. No one plans it. His voice was gentle, patient, the way you'd talk to a child. But Dad's heart attack came out of nowhere, remember? We weren't prepared. This is just being smart. I looked at him, really looked. He had Robert's eyes. Brown, warm. Robert used to look at me like that when he wanted something. A new drill. A weekend fishing trip. I'll think about it, I said again. Okay. He smiled. Take your time, no pressure. But there was pressure. I felt it in the way he watched me, in the way Bryn had appeared wearing that Chanel perfume, in the way my tablecloth was suddenly good enough for dinner after years in storage. I stood. I should go. Daniel walked me to the door. The cold air hit my face like a slap. Love you, Ma, he said. Love you too. I walked to my car. Claire was waiting, engine running, heat blasting. What did he want? She asked as I climbed in. Nothing. Margaret. I buckled my seatbelt. He wants me to sign a power of attorney. Claire's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Are you serious? He says it's a precaution. A precaution for what? You're 68 and healthy. That's what I said. She pulled out of the driveway. We drove in silence for a minute. Don't sign it, Claire finally said. I'm not. Good. She glanced at me. Something's off with Bryn. I've always thought so, but tonight. Did you see that perfume? And those nails? I saw. Daniel doesn't make that much. Not enough for all this. I looked out the window. Streetlights blurred past. Margaret, is there something you're not telling me? I thought about the bank statements. The 11 checks. The $47,000. No, I said. Claire didn't believe me. I could tell. But she didn't push. She dropped me at my apartment. I climbed the stairs to 6B, unlocked the door, turned on the lamp. The envelope was still on the kitchen table. I walked over, picked it up, felt the weight of the paper. 3 pages, 1 signature line. I thought about Daniel's smile, his gentle voice. Take your time. No pressure. I thought about Bryn's Chanel perfume, her perfect nails, her laugh that was too loud. I thought about my tablecloth. 6 months of work, stained and torn. I opened the drawer under the microwave, pulled out the 6 bank statements, laid them on the table beside the power of attorney. 11 checks, $47,000, and they wanted more. I sat down, stared at the documents until my eyes burned. Then I picked up my phone, Googled, Estate Attorneys Asheville, NC. 17 results. I clicked the first one, Law Offices of Brennan and Associates, 1 mile from my apartment. I wrote down the number on a scrap of paper, put it in my purse. Tomorrow was Saturday. They'd be closed. But Monday, I'd call. I wasn't going to sign anything. Not until I understood exactly what I was dealing with. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Thanks for coming tonight. Meant a lot to Bryn. She really loves you, Ma. I stared at the message. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. But sleep didn't come. At midnight, I got up, went to the kitchen, made tea. I pulled out the October bank statement again, studied the check images. Check 2863, $5,200. Neiman Marcus Online. I opened my laptop. It took 3 tries to remember the password. I hadn't used it in months. I went to Neiman Marcus website, typed Hermes bag in the search bar. The first result was $8,900. The second was $11,200. I clicked on it. Hermes Birkin 30. Étoupe leather. Gold hardware. The ultimate status symbol. I thought about Bryn at that charity gala. Her gold dress. Her perfect smile. I thought about the text she'd sent last Sunday. Can you watch the kids next Saturday? Tomorrow. What were they doing tomorrow that they needed me out of the way? I closed the laptop, sat in the dark kitchen until my tea went cold. And I realized something. They weren't just stealing from me. They were erasing me. Piece by piece. Check by check. Until there was nothing left. Saturday morning. Daniel called at 7:30. Ma, you're still good for today? Watching the kids? I was making coffee. What time? We'll drop them off at 9, pick them up around 4. Fine. He hung up before I could say more. At 8:55, his truck pulled into the parking lot. Emma and Noah climbed out with backpacks. Daniel waved from the driver's seat but didn't get out. Just drove away. I opened the door. Hi, Grandma, Emma said. 10 years old, blonde like Bryn. Noah mumbled hello. 8, quiet, eyes on his tablet. Where are your parents going? I asked. Emma shrugged. Shopping, I think. I made them cereal. They ate in front of the TV while I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my cold coffee. At 10, I told them I needed to run an errand. Would they be okay for 30 minutes? Sure, Emma said without looking up. I grabbed my purse and drove to Daniel's house. The neighborhood was empty. Saturday morning quiet. I parked 2 houses down under a tree. Both vehicles were gone. Driveway empty. I had a key. Daniel gave it to me 2 years ago. 4 emergencies. I walked up like I belonged there, unlocked the door. No alarm. Daniel stopped setting it months ago. The house was silent. I went upstairs to Bryn's closet. Walk-in, bigger than my entire bedroom. In the back corner, shopping bags. Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks. I opened the first bag. Chanel jacket, tags attached, $3,400. Second bag, Louboutin shoes, $200. Third bag, makeup, perfume, skincare, hundreds of dollars. At the bottom of a Neiman Marcus bag, the Hermes Birkin, Etoupe leather, gold hardware, price tag still on, $11,200. My vision blurred. I put everything back exactly as I found it. Downstairs, Daniel's laptop sat open on the kitchen counter. Screen dark, but not closed. I touched the mouse pad. It lit up. His email was open. The first message was from Mountain Trust Bank. Subject, account activity alert. I clicked it. Recent activity on joint account number 47829933 has exceeded your threshold. Please review at your earliest convenience. Joint account. I opened a new browser tab. Mountain Trust login. Used Daniel's email and his old password, Emma's birthday backwards. It worked. Account holders, Daniel Hayes and Margaret Hayes. Balance, $23,450. Transaction history showed 5 deposits, $5,000 each. Last 3 months. Source, transfers from my savings account. I couldn't breathe. He'd opened a joint account in my name, without permission. Been transferring my money. I scrolled down. Withdrawals to Visa, American Express, something called BRP Management LLC. I took photos with my phone. Then I heard a car door. Bryn's Lexus, driveway. I closed the laptop, ran to the back door, slipped out through the laundry room as I heard her heels clicking up the front steps. I walked to my car. Not running, just walking. Normal. Got in. Started the engine. Pulled away slowly. In my rearview mirror, her front door closed. Back at the apartment, Emma and Noah were still watching TV. "You okay, Grandma?" Emma asked. "Fine." I locked myself in the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub, pulled out my phone, looked at the photos. 5 transfers, $25,000, plus the forged checks, $47,000. Total, $72,000. More than half my savings. Gone. I thought about that power of attorney on my kitchen table. If I'd signed it, this would all be legal. They'd been planning this for months. At 5:15, Daniel picked up the kids, handed me an envelope. For watching them. 4 20s, $80, 7 hours of babysitting. I thought about the $11,200 purse. "Thanks," I said. After they left, I sat on the couch and cried. Sunday, I didn't leave the apartment. Didn't answer when Claire called. Just sat at the table with bank statements spread out like a crime scene. At 4 p.m., someone knocked. Claire. "You didn't answer your phone," she said, walking in. I showed her everything. The statements. The photos of the joint account. She stared for a long time. Then, "That son of a bitch. Claire, you're calling the police. He's my son. He's stealing from you." "I know." My voice broke. Claire sat, took my hand. "There's a lawyer, Thomas Brennan. He handled my friend's case when her husband hid assets. Call him tomorrow." "Okay. First thing, Margaret. Promise me." "I promise." She stayed another hour, made tea, tried to distract me. When she left, the silence was crushing. At midnight, I couldn't sleep. Went downstairs to check my mailbox. 3 items: electric bill, grocery coupons, and a letter from Mountain Trust Bank. I opened it in the stairwell, under the fluorescent light. Notice of fraud investigation. Dear Mrs. Hayes, our fraud department has identified irregular activity on savings account $38472293. Federal regulations require formal investigation of unauthorized transactions totaling $47,280. You must contact our office within 14 calendar days to provide documentation and testimony. Failure to respond by December 12, 2023 may result in account suspension, law enforcement referral, loss of FDIC protection for disputed funds. Additionally, a joint checking account, DAR 47829933, has been flagged for possible identity theft. Please confirm whether you authorize the opening of this account. 14 days, December 12th. I looked at the date on my phone. November 28th. 2 weeks to decide whether to destroy my son's life. I climbed the stairs back to 6B, sat at the kitchen table. The power of attorney was still there, that blank signature line. Next to it now, the fraud investigation notice. I thought about Daniel's smile at dinner, his hug at the door. Love you, Ma. I thought about Bryn's Chanel perfume, her perfect nails signing my name. I thought about Emma and Noah, 8 and 10. What would happen to them if their parents went to jail? My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Thanks again for today. You're a lifesaver. The kids had a great time. I stared at the message until the screen went dark. Then I picked up the scrap of paper with Thomas Brennan's number. Put it in my purse. Tomorrow was Monday. I'd call first thing. But as I sat there in the dark kitchen, I realized something. Calling a lawyer meant choosing. Choosing myself over Daniel. Choosing truth over family. And I didn't know if I was strong enough to make that choice. The notice sat on the table. 14 days. The clock was ticking. Monday morning, I called Thomas Brennan's office at 9 a.m. sharp. Law offices of Brennan and Associates, a woman answered. Young voice. Professional. I need to speak with Mr. Brennan about a fraud case. Is this regarding an ongoing investigation? Yes. Your name? Margaret Hayes. One moment, please. Hold music. Classical. Mozart, maybe. I paced my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear. 2 minutes later, Mrs. Hayes, this is Thomas Brennan. His voice was older, steady. The kind of voice that had been in courtrooms. I need help, I said. My son is stealing from me. Silence. Then, can you come to my office today? 2 p.m.? Yes. Bring everything. Bank statements, documents, any evidence you have. I will. And Mrs. Hayes? Don't tell anyone you're coming, not even family. Okay. He gave me the address. Downtown Asheville near Pack Square. I hung up and looked at the clock. 5 hours. I spent them organizing, laid everything out on the kitchen table like puzzle pieces. 6 months of bank statements, photos of the laptop screen, the fraud notice from the bank, the unsigned power of attorney. At 1:30, I drove downtown. Brennan's office was in an old brick building. 3rd floor. The hallway smelled like wood polish and coffee. The receptionist, same young voice from the phone, smiled when I walked in. Mrs. Hayes? Go right in. Last door on the left. Thomas Brennan stood when I entered. Mid-60s, gray suit, wire-rimmed glasses. His office had floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and a window overlooking the mountains. Please, sit. He gestured to a leather chair. I sat, placed my folder on his desk. Tell me everything, he said. So I did. The whisper in the closet, the forged checks, the shopping bags in Bryn's closet, the joint account opened in my name, the fraud notice with its 14-day deadline. He didn't interrupt, just took notes on a yellow legal pad. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. How much did you have originally? 130,000. And now? Around 58,000, maybe less. He nodded slowly. Mrs. Hayes, I'm going to be direct with you. This is felony fraud, identity theft, possibly elder abuse depending on how the DA wants to prosecute. My son could go to jail. Yes. I looked down at my hands. They were trembling. What do you want to happen here? Brennan asked quietly. I don't know. That's okay. But we need to move fast. That 14-day deadline is real. If you don't respond, the bank will assume you're complicit or incompetent. Either way, you lose. What should I do? He opened a drawer, pulled out a form. First, we file a police report. Second, we contact the bank and confirm you're cooperating with the fraud investigation. Third, we get a forensic accountant to trace every dollar. Fourth, he paused. Fourth, we decide whether to pursue criminal charges or handle this civilly. What's the difference? Criminal means jail time. Civil means restitution and restraining orders. Your choice. I thought about Emma and Noah, 8 and 10. Can I think about it? You have until December 12th. That's 2 weeks from today. He slid a business card across the desk. My cell phone is on there. Call me anytime, day or night. I took the card, put it in my purse next to the fraud notice. One more thing, Brennan said. That power of attorney. Don't sign it, and don't let it out of your sight. I won't. Good. He stood. offered his hand. "We'll get through this, Mrs. Hayes." His grip was firm, certain. I wished I felt the same way. I left his office at 3:30, drove home, sat in my car in the parking lot for 10 minutes before going inside. My phone rang. Daniel. I stared at his name on the screen. Let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a text. "Hey Ma, just checking in. Want to grab lunch this week?" Lunch. Like nothing was wrong. Like he hadn't stolen $72,000. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop, Googled BRP Management LLC. Nothing useful. A generic business registry listing. Address in Charlotte. No website. I tried Facebook, LinkedIn. Nothing. Then I remembered. Daniel's email was still logged in on my phone. I'd taken photos, but I hadn't logged him out. I opened the browser, went to his email, searched BRP. 3 results. The first was an invoice. BRP Management LLC. Services rendered, $1,800. Date, October 15th. Services rendered. What services? The second email was older. September. A contract. I downloaded it. Consulting agreement. This agreement is between Daniel Hayes, client, and BRP Management LLC, consultant, for business development services related to residential property acquisition and renovation. I read it twice. It was vague, deliberately vague. The third email was from 2 weeks ago. Subject, payment due. Daniel, second notice, $3,600 outstanding. Need payment by Nov 30 or we move forward with alternative collection. Brandon. My stomach turned. Daniel owed someone $3,600, and whoever Brandon was, he wasn't polite about collecting. I took screenshots of everything. Then I did something I'd never done before. I logged into my bank account online, created a new password Daniel couldn't guess, changed my security questions, and I transferred $50,000 into a new savings account at a different bank. First Citizens, across town. It took 20 minutes. When it was done, my Mountain Trust account showed $8,140. If they tried to take more, there'd be nothing left to take. I felt sick, but I also felt something else. Control. For the first time in weeks, I had control. That night, Claire called. "Did you talk to the lawyer?" "Yes. And?" "He's helping me." "Good. What's the plan?" "I don't know yet." She was quiet for a moment. "Margaret, you sound different." "Different how?" "I don't know. Stronger, maybe." I looked at my laptop, at the screenshots, at the new bank account confirmation. "I'm tired of being stolen from," I said. "Good. It's about damn time." We talked for another hour. She told me about her neighbor's drama. Some fight over a parking space. Normal problems. The kind I used to have. After we hung up, I made dinner. Scrambled eggs and toast. Ate standing up at the kitchen counter. My phone buzzed. Text from Bryn. "Hey, Margaret. We're having a little holiday party deck 10th. You'll come, right? December 10th. 2 days before the fraud deadline." I stared at the message. They had no idea. No idea I'd found the joint account. No idea I'd moved the money. No idea I'd hired a lawyer. They thought I was still the same Margaret, the one who folded their towels and watched their kids and asked no questions. I typed back, "Sounds lovely. I'll be there." Then I opened my calendar and marked December 10th in red. The next morning, Tuesday, I did something I'd never done. I went to Daniel's work. He was a real estate agent at Asheville Realty Partners, office on Hendersonville Road. I'd been there once, maybe twice. Dropped off lunch when he forgot it. I parked across the street. Waited. At 11:30, Daniel came out with another agent. They stood by his truck talking, laughing. He looked happy, relaxed, like his mother wasn't deciding whether to send him to prison. They shook hands. Daniel got in his truck and drove away. I followed him, not close, 3 cars back. He'd taught me that when I was nervous about highway driving years ago. 3 cars back, Ma. That's the safe distance. He drove to Biltmore Park, pulled into a parking lot near a construction site. I parked at the grocery store next door, watched through my windshield. Daniel got out, met a man in a hard hat. They walked the site together, pointing at things, taking notes. I took photos with my phone. Daniel's truck, the license plate, The site address on the sign, Biltmore Park Phase 3, Luxury Townhomes. After 20 minutes, they shook hands. Daniel left. I stayed another 10 minutes. Then I drove to the site office, a trailer at the edge of the lot. A woman inside looked up when I knocked. "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for information about units for sale," I said. "Sure. Let me grab you a brochure." She handed me a glossy folder. Prices started at $520,000. "Is Daniel Hayes the listing agent?" I asked. "He's one of them, yes. Great guy. You want his card?" "I have it already, thanks." I left with the brochure. Back in my car, I opened it, flipped through the pages. On the last page, small print, Development Partners, BRP Management LLC. There it was, BRP Management, Daniel's company, or his partner's company. Either way, he was involved, and he owed them money, $3,600, with threatening emails about alternative collection. I drove home and called Thomas Brennan. "Mrs. Hayes?" "I found something," I said. "About my son's business, a company called BRP Management. Tell me." I explained everything, the emails, the consulting agreement, the payment demands. "Send me those screenshots," he said. "This changes things." "How?" "Your son might not be the only one committing fraud. If BRP is tied to this development and he's funneling stolen money into it, that's money laundering. We can use this." "Use it how?" "Leverage, to get your money back without criminal charges. If that's what you want." "I don't know what I want." "That's okay, but keep digging. The more we know, the better." That night, I couldn't sleep again. I lay in bed thinking about Daniel at 4 years old, the way he'd hold my hand crossing the street, the way he'd cry when I left him at preschool. Somewhere between then and now, I'd lost him, or maybe he'd lost me. At 2 a.m., I got up, opened my laptop, logged into the new bank account at First Citizens. Balance, $50,000. Safe, hidden, mine. I thought about the party on December 10th, about standing in Daniel's house surrounded by Christmas decorations and people who didn't know I was planning to destroy him or save him. I still hadn't decided which. My phone lit up. Email notification from Mountain Trust Bank. Reminder, fraud investigation response due December 12th, 2023. This is a reminder that your response is due in 12 days. Please contact our fraud department immediately to avoid account suspension and legal action. 12 days. I closed the laptop, went back to bed, and for the first time in weeks I slept. Not peacefully, but I slept. Because I'd made a choice. I wasn't going to be a victim anymore. Whatever happened next, criminal charges, family destruction, public shame, I'd done what I needed to do. I'd protected myself, and if Daniel wanted forgiveness, he'd have to earn it. The week crawled. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I didn't answer Daniel's calls. One-word texts only. Saturday, December 9th. 3 days before the bank deadline. Someone knocked on my door. Daniel. He looked terrible. Dark circles, uncombed hair, sweatpants. I hadn't seen him like this in years. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He walked to the kitchen table, saw the folder with bank statements on top. "What's this?" His hand reached for the October statement. "Don't touch it." He picked it up anyway. Check 2863, Neiman Marcus, $5,200. His face went white. "Ma, I can explain. $72,000, Daniel. 47 in forged checks, 25 in transfers to an account I never opened." "How did you—" He stopped. "You went through my computer." "You went through my bank account." No answer. "Sit," I said. He sat, put his head in his hands. "Why?" I asked. "I was going to pay it back. The Biltmore Park development. My commission will be over $200,000. "When?" "When they break ground." "When is that?" Silence. "Daniel." "When?" "Permits aren't finalized yet, so never. It's just delayed. And meanwhile, you spent my money on an $11,000 purse for Bryn." His eyes widened. "You went to the house. Answer me." He stood, paced. "You don't understand. Bryn's clients expect a certain image. If she doesn't look successful, she doesn't have clients. She has Instagram. That's not fair." What's not fair is you stealing from your mother. I was desperate. BRP threatened to pull out if I didn't cover $3,600. I was going to pay you back when the deal closed. So you took $72,000? Bryn found the checks. She said if I could do it, she could too. And then it spiraled. He sat back down, face in hands. God, Ma, I'm so sorry. I pulled out my phone, showed him the bank notice. They're investigating. I have until December 12th to cooperate or they call the police. All color left his face. Police? Fraud is a felony. Ma, please. If they arrest me, I lose my license, my career, everything. You should have thought of that. What do I do? I don't know. You have to help me. I don't have to do anything. He stared like I'd slapped him. You're my mother, and you're my thief. The word hung between us. I need to go, he said. Where's the money now? What? The $72,000. Where is it? Gone. BRP, credit cards, Bryn stuff. Can you get it back? No. Can Bryn sell what she bought? He laughed bitterly. She'd divorce me. Maybe she should. Ma, there's a party tomorrow, I said. Are you canceling? I can't. People are expecting it. Then I'll come. Act normal. But after that, you're on your own. He nodded, wiped his eyes. Do you hate me? I thought about it. No, but I don't trust you anymore. Can I earn it back? I don't know. He left. After he was gone, Thomas Brennan called. Mrs. Hayes, the forensic accountant, found more. Daniel's been using that joint account for over a year, and Bryn opened a credit card in your name last March. $41,000 in charges. I couldn't breathe. Total damage is $130,000. Everything you had. So I have nothing. You have the $50,000 you moved. But the rest, he paused. We need to file criminal charges. Both of them. It's the only way. And if I don't, they get away with it. What about BRP management? Shell company. No real business. The development has no funding. Daniel's commission doesn't exist. It's all fake. After hanging up, I sat in the dark. $130,000. Everything Robert left me. Gone. Tomorrow I had to go to a party and smile. Sunday, December 10th. I arrived at noon. Cars lined the street. Music from inside. Bryn answered the door in a red dress. Chanel perfume overwhelming. Margaret, you made it! Christmas decorations everywhere. Tree with white lights. The smell of cinnamon. Daniel was across the room. He saw me. Looked terrified. I smiled. Claire arrived at 1. Found me by the tree. How are you? Fine. Did you talk to him? Yesterday. He knows. At 2 p.m., Daniel clinked his glass. Thanks for coming, everyone. We're grateful for all of you, especially my mom. She's always been there for us. Everyone clapped. I didn't move. Bryn raised her glass. To family. I took a sip of water. At 3, Daniel pulled me to his office. Closed the door. I checked the account this morning. The money's gone. Where did it go? Somewhere safe. You moved it. Yes. Ma, I need that money. BRP is threatening me. They want payment by tomorrow or what? Let them sue you. You're really going to let them destroy me? You destroyed yourself. Bryn opened the door. Everything okay? Fine, Daniel said. She looked between us. Margaret, Claire's looking for you. I walked out. Behind me, Bryn hissed, What's going on? Nothing. Everything's fine. But it wasn't. And tomorrow would be worse. Monday, December 11th. One day before the deadline. At 9 a.m., someone banged on my door. Hard, urgent. I looked through the peephole. Bryn. Her hair was messy. No makeup. Sweatpants. I'd never seen her like this. I opened the door. Where is it? She said. Where's what? The money. Daniel said you moved it. Where? That's none of your business. She pushed past me into the apartment. It is my business. That's our money. Our future. Your future. You mean the future you bought with my stolen money? She spun around. I don't know what Daniel told you, but he didn't tell me anything. I figured it out myself. I pulled out my phone, showed her the photos, the bank statements, the joint account, the credit card in my name. Her face went pale. $41,000, Bryn. On a credit card you opened in my name. I didn't. Daniel said you approved. I never approved anything. She sank onto my couch, put her head in her hands. Where's Daniel? I asked. I don't know. He left at 6 this morning. Wouldn't tell me where. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Mrs. Hayes? This is Brandon Poole from BRP Management. Is Daniel Hayes with you? No. If you hear from him, tell him we're filing a lawsuit today. Breach of contract. We want our money back. All of it. He hung up. I looked at Bryn. BRP is suing him. What? Her voice cracked. How much? I don't know, but Daniel doesn't have it. Because you took it. Because he stole it first. She stood up. You're his mother. You're supposed to help him. I did help him. For 42 years. I gave him everything. And he repaid me by teaching you how to forge my signature. That was his idea. I don't care whose idea it was. You both did it. You both spent my money. $130,000, Bryn. Everything I had. She stared at me. What are you going to do? Tomorrow I meet with the bank. Tell them everything. After that, it's up to the police. You'd send him to jail? I'd send both of you. Her eyes filled with tears. Please, think about Emma and Noah. They need their parents. You should have thought about them before you bought an $11,000 purse. How did you? I saw it. In your closet, along with everything else. She collapsed back onto the couch. What do you want? Money? I'll sell everything. Every bag. Every shoe? That won't cover 10% of what you took. Then what? I sat across from her. I want the truth. All of it. When did this start? How long have you been planning this? She was quiet for a long time. Then, March. Daniel told me about your savings. Said you didn't need all that money. That you'd be fine with less. She wiped her eyes. I didn't think it was wrong. You're old. You don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We needed it more. Old. The word stung worse than the theft. So you thought you'd just take it? Borrow it. We were going to pay you back when the development... She stopped. There is no development, is there? No. God. She put her face in her hands. We're going to lose everything. The house, the cars, everything. Good. She looked up. You really hate us. No, I'm just done being stolen from. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Ma, I'm at Claire's. Can you come? Please, it's important. I stood, grabbed my purse. Where are you going? Bryn asked. To see my son. Can I come? No. I left her sitting on my couch crying. Claire's condo was 15 minutes away. Daniel's truck was in the driveway. Claire opened the door. He showed up an hour ago. Won't tell me what's going on. Daniel was at her kitchen table. A bottle of whiskey in front of him, half empty. Ma, he said when he saw me. His eyes were red. I sat down. Claire sat beside me. Talk, I said. BRP called. They're suing me for $50,000. Money I borrowed from the development fund. Did you? Yes, to pay credit cards. I thought I could pay it back before anyone noticed. And? And the development's dead. No permits, no funding, no commission. It was all fake. He poured more whiskey. I've lost everything. Not everything, I said quietly. You still have your family. Do I? Bryn won't talk to me. You hate me. I'm about to be arrested. I don't hate you. He looked up. You don't? No, I'm disappointed, angry, hurt, but I don't hate you. Then help me, please. I pulled out my phone, showed him Thomas Brennan's number. This is my lawyer. Call him. Tell him everything. Maybe he can work out a deal. A deal? Restitution instead of jail time. If you cooperate. If you pay back what you can. I don't have anything to pay back with. Then you sell the house, the cars, everything Bryn bought. You start over. She'll divorce me. Maybe. Or maybe she'll realize she married a thief and decide to become a better person. Claire snorted. Doubtful. Daniel stared at the number on my screen. What about you? Will you forgive me? Someday, maybe, if you earn it. How? By being honest, by making this right, by being the man your father wanted you to be. His face crumpled. He started crying. Real, ugly crying. I reached across the table, took his hand. It was the first time I'd touched him since I'd found out. I'm so sorry, Ma, he sobbed. I'm so sorry. I know. Claire got up, brought him tissues. We sat there for an hour while he cried and talked and apologized. Finally, he called Thomas Brennan, December 12th, deadline day. I met with the bank at 10 a.m. Richard Poole, the branch manager, Janet the teller, a fraud investigator from corporate. I gave them everything. Documents, photos, Thomas Brennan's contact information. We'll be forwarding this to the district attorney, the investigator said. You may be called to testify. I understand. And the $50,000 you transferred? Protected, in a different bank. Smart. I left at 11. Drove to Thomas Brennan's office. Daniel was already there. He'd brought Bryn. She looked small, defeated. Mrs. Hayes, Brennan said. We've reached a preliminary agreement. Daniel and Bryn will plead guilty to fraud. In exchange for reduced charges, they'll sell all assets and pay restitution. It'll take years, but you'll get most of your money back. Most. 70, maybe 80,000. The rest is gone. I looked at Daniel, at Bryn. What about jail? Suspended sentences, 5 years probation. If they violate terms, they go to prison. And the kids? They keep custody, but supervised. I sat down, thought about it. Okay, I finally said. Daniel exhaled. Thank you, Ma. Don't thank me yet. You're going to spend the next 5 years paying me back. Every dollar. I will, I promise. And you're going to therapy, both of you. Bryn nodded. Whatever it takes. And I get to see Emma and Noah. Every week. No excuses. Of course, Daniel said. Brennan slid papers across the desk. Sign here. All of you. We signed. 6 months later. Daniel and Bryn sold the house, moved into a rental, sold the Lexus, most of Bryn's clothes, the furniture. They'd paid back $12,000 so far. 68 to go. I saw the kids every Sunday, took them to the park, made them lunch. Emma helped me with errands. Noah was slowly coming out of his shell. Daniel got a job at a different real estate firm. Smaller commissions. Humbler. Bryn was working retail at Belk, the same store where I'd bought Daniel's Christmas sweater 2 years ago. She'd apologized. Multiple times. I still didn't trust her. Maybe I never would. But she was trying. They both were. Today was Sunday. Emma and Noah were coming over. I made cookies, chocolate chip, Robert's recipe from the old notebook. Someone knocked. I opened the door. Daniel stood there holding flowers. Grocery store flowers. $5. Can I come in? He asked. For a minute. He handed me the flowers. I know it's not enough, but it's a start. Thank you. Ma, He struggled with the words. I'm never going to be able to make this right, what I did, but I'm going to try. Every day. For the rest of my life. I looked at my son, 42 years old, broken, humbled, trying. I know, I said. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I thought about it. Really thought. Ask me again in 5 years. He nodded. Fair enough. Behind him, Emma and Noah ran up the stairs. Grandma, Emma hugged me. We brought a game. Then let's play, I said. Daniel left. The kids came inside. We played Uno at the kitchen table, ate cookies, laughed. And for the first time in months, I felt something like peace. Not forgiveness, not yet, but hope. That maybe, someday, we could be a family again, on my terms,